Are you one of those people who were raised to believe that money is scarce? It's hard to come by. It's hard to obtain. If you have money, you're going to lose it very quickly. You have to be worried about money. You have to be stressed out about it. Those belief systems can be very powerful. And what they can do is they can kind of create a roadmap on how your financial future is going to look. What we're going to do in this video is talk about why money really is not valuable, where money really comes from, and the importance and the power of changing your belief systems around money to put yourself in a position to where you can obtain money and not feel the anxiety and the stress around this topic of money. Let's get started. First problem is that you cannot access the money in circulation. And for many people, that's going to be one of their biggest issues, is there's a certain amount of money in circulation and they don't believe that they can access it. And this can be very disturbing because they see other people making money. They see money in their environment, but then they don't know how to access it. And then they start to create these beliefs around, well, money's going to be hard for me to get. Money's difficult for me to obtain, because they really don't understand how to do it. And then this becomes a belief system that they have, and then they go play it out in the real world. Now, the solution for that is understand where money is at and how to access the money in circulation. And what I mean is that money can be in a certain part of the country. So let me give an example. I know a guy who was working in the medical space in Lakeland, Florida, which is right between Orlando and Tampa. And he was a highly trained person in the medical space, but the market he was in would only pay him a certain amount of money. His education had nothing to do with it. That market would only pay so much for his particular profession. He was not going to be able to force those people to give him more money. The money didn't exist in the market. What he did was he moved to Vegas. And Vegas paid him way more money because his skill set was in such high demand, and Vegas actually had the money. Vegas is a much larger city than Lakeland, Florida. And they actually had the money in their healthcare system that he was working for to pay him what he wanted to get paid. And that's how he was able to access that money in circulation. Depending on where you live, what city you live, what's going on in that city, they can be varying degrees of money in circulation in that particular area. You may have to go to a different area where the money's at, and you can have now the ability to access that money that's currently in circulation. The next myth around money is that money is scarce. And this particular idea that money is scarce, money is hard to come by, money is in short supply. We're talking about a United States standpoint. It's something that a lot of people get introduced to at a very young age. And this particular framing or this particular mindset or even an ideology, it starts to shape their life. And they have this belief system. And this can happen to anybody. There's a lot of people, their early experiences with money, what their family told them about money will frame what they believe. Another example is that you work a job. Well, most jobs are trying to limit the amount of money that they give to labor. Okay. And then therefore, if your only experience with money is how much money your boss did not want to pay you, you'll start to believe that money is scarce because you've never been really in a profession that's very much in high demand and where people want to pay you a lot of money to do what you do. And then you may never really realize how much money is even available to you. So you accept low money because you believe there is really not a lot of money, without really understanding where the money is really at and how to go obtain it. And so these things start to shape and determine your life. So now you don't never believe I can make, $100,000 a year because I've always been told, well, we can only pay you this much money. And you, after a while, just start to accept that. Well, that's all they're ever going to pay. And so this is why you got to kind of watch out for that myth. Now, the truth, it may be a fact that money is scarce in your local area. However, money is not scarce nationally. We talked about before. In your local geographical area, you could be going through some type of economic crisis and money may be very scarce. The liquidity may have been pulled out of your area based on what you do. But it's not that way nationally, right? So you got to understand, you could have an economic depression in this part of the country, and in another part of the country, it's a boom town. It could be because of jobs. It could be because of energy. It could be because of construction. It could be anything creating that boom. So we could have an area in Texas where people are moving there from out of state, and what it's doing is creating a lot of demand on construction. That demand on construction is bringing a lot of labor in. Those people are making a lot of money. And then now what they need to do is they need somewhere to spend that money. And what it does is it creates a lot of liquidity in that particular area during this particular period of time. Well, if you go another state over, nobody's moving there. There's not a lot of liquidity in that particular area, right? There's not a lot of commerce going there. And you live in that area, you believe, well, money's scarce. Well, it's not one state over, not scarce. It's just scarce here. Maybe you may have to move somewhere else. And this is what I want you to understand. The United States is a very unique environment because outside of maybe the Great Depression in the early 1900s and then the real estate depression of like 07, 08, 09, we've rarely had a national downturn. Normally, you can always find a part of the country where we're going through an economic boom, and you can always find parts of the country where they're going through an economic depression. And you got to kind of decide what part of the country that you want to reside in. Here's another myth around money. Money is rare and it's hard to come by, right? And people buy into this because of their beliefs around money. They see money as like gold or silver or any kind of natural resource, and it's really not. Money is actually made by people, right? And I want you to watch this and kind of understand what I mean.
Fair to say you simply flooded the system with money.
Yes, we did. That's another way to think about it. We did.
Where does it come from? Do you just print it?
We print it digitally. So we as a central bank, we have the ability to create money digitally. And we do that by buying treasury bills or bonds or other government guaranteed securities. And that actually increases the money supply. We also print actual currency, and we distribute that through the Federal Reserve banks.
How is commercial bank money created? The notes and coins that are in circulation and which we hold in our hands every day are what we know as money or legal tender. But is there any other sort of money? Yes, commercial bank money, which is intangible and makes up 97% of the total volume of money in the economy. This money is created by banks. Of all the deposits made by clients, banking institutions keep only a very small percentage in reserve. This deposit is known as the cash ratio. It is regularly set by the central bank, and it aims to guarantee the liquidity and solvency of banking institutions so that they can return client savings to them. Let's give an example. Client A makes a deposit of €100 in his bank. Of this amount, €2 are kept in reserve, and the rest, 98, are lent to client B, who spends a large part of the loan, but who deposits €50 in his account. The bank keeps €1 as a cash reserve, and the rest, 49, is lent to client C, who pays it all into his account. The question is, how many coins are actually in circulation? 100. How much money have all the clients deposited in the bank? 199. We have just created commercial bank money.
Now, after watching that video, we can come to the truth. Money can be made like bread in a factory created digitally. Jerome Powell just spoke about how they make money digitally. They can literally go into a computer and print up money. They also manufacture money the same way they manufacture bread, or they make cars, or they make any kind of parts. And therefore, if they can make money, then what does that mean? They can make as much of it they want, right? They can make as much of it as they want because they have the ability to generate it. It's not coming from something else. They can't generate gold. They can make diamonds, but diamonds is not a currency. Diamonds is not a commodity, right? They can't make silver, right? And if they can't make it in any amount in which it could actually move a market. But they can make so much money. They can make the amount of money that you currently have today seem like you have no money. And then what they can also do is they can pull so much money out of supply. They can make the amount of money that you currently have seem like all the money in the world. They can do either or they can play it down the middle because they control the money supply. And when we believe that money is rare and hard to come by, it's really based on our experiences. It's based on what people have told us. It's based on how people have framed what kind of experience that we should have with money, because that may have been how they understood money. But money's not rare. They make it in factories, right? They create it digitally. And as we'll go into a world in which we're going to start using less and less physical money, all money is going to be created electronically, which means what? It doesn't even really exist. It just exists on a ledger somewhere, but it never actually existed anywhere in real life. So what's unusual is that we live in a world in which you're using your labor, which is real, to go access something that's going to be 100% digital. That was made with little or no work. So we're going to be in a world of digital money created with very little or no work. It's going to be a little bit of electricity made to make the money. There's going to be a program on the onset that is going to be created to actually generate the money, right? There's going to be an algorithm they're going to be using. But that work is going to be nowhere near equivalent to the work that you're going to have to do in the real world to make something that's going to be created digitally that you're now going to have to use to get access to resources and services in the real world. And you really want to understand that money is not rare. It's not a commodity. It's not hard to come by. It's really not. But as long as they can get you to believe this about money, you will accept the deals that they're giving you around money. Your perception of money is shaped by your experiences with it. When I was real younger, I had somebody that I knew tell me some things about money. And because I didn't know any better, that shaped my perception of it. And so then I went out in my environment and I acted out based on what I believed about money, right? And when you don't know people that are obtaining money and they're not doing it in the ways in which you've been taught that people obtain money, you will start to think, well, there's 3 ways to make money in the world. There's 4 ways to make money in the world. There's 5 ways to make money in the world. And if you can't get into one of those 5 ways, then you'll just accept, well, I'm never going to have a lot of money. Right? Or if you believe that money is hard to come by, or you believe that money is actually scarce, so money is hard to obtain. Even if you come into some money, what do you already believe? That money is hard to obtain, money is hard to come by. So what will you do? You will make your financial situation meet your belief system. And this is why so many lotto people struggle. Because why? What were their beliefs around money before they won lotto? Nobody talks about that. Because whatever your beliefs around money are, it doesn't matter how much money you come in contact with, you're going to go back to what your beliefs around money are. Because why? You want your real world to represent your belief system. And if I believe that money is based around not having, if money is based around lack, if money is based around scarcity. So if I believe that money is scarce, and then I win lotto and I win $20 million. What do I believe? Money is scarce. My whole life couldn't get money. People, robbing Peter to pay Paul, people lying to get money, people stealing money from people doing all kind of weird things to get money. These are my experiences with money. Then I win 20 million. Well, what is my belief system around money? What my experiences were. I haven't changed my belief system. So what am I going to do? I'm going to make my real world match my belief system. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get rid of the 20 million. I'm going to get rid. I have to get it out of my hands because why? I need to make sure that my reality matches my belief system because my belief system doesn't change. If I believe something the day before I win lotto, I go buy the lotto ticket. The next day I won lotto, nothing has changed about my belief system. My belief system is still the same. So what a lot of lotto winners do is what they do is they go back to homeostasis. What is their homeostasis? Scarcity, lack, not having, right? People doing all kind of crazy stuff for money. And so that's the world they build again because why? That was always their world. They just happened to win lotto. So the system has created a really good mechanism of getting all these people normally who have bad experiences and perceptions of money to pay money into the system to win lotto to do what? To give all the money right back to the system. It's a beautiful game, right? Because the system's not going to go and get people to actually understand money and where it comes from and how it's created and yada, yada, yada. Because why? That doesn't benefit the game that they're trying to run. Let's go to the next one. Your experiences with money may come from lack of knowledge around money. You may conclude that money is hard to come by. We talked about this before. Your perceptions of money currently today, right, can be based on your experiences with money, what you went through, how you was raised, yada, yada, yada. And then you start to believe this around money. You believe, I got to run some type of gimmick to get money. You really don't believe I can actually add value to people's lives in the real world to make a lot of money. You don't believe that because you've never seen anybody really do it, right? So you believe I have to do these things to make money. Or you believe that it doesn't matter what I do, as long as it makes money, it justifies what I've done. That's based on your experiences. So you'll do anything to make money. Doesn't matter what it is, because why? You don't believe I can really be who I really am and be an honest person and make money because I don't know anybody that's ever done that. All I know is people that have lied, cheated, and steal to make money. So I think that's what you got to do to make money. And that's what I want to really to get you to understand. The way to really start changing your financial trajectory is really examining your experiences with money and your beliefs around money. So the first thing you want to do is you want to start with you. How can I create a situation that can add money and liquidity to my life? What do I need to do? And just ask yourself that. What do I need to learn? And I want to really guard you. This is not something that's supposed to happen in 3 days. So what happens with a lot of people is they get really frustrated with their life, and then now they want 14 to 20 to 30 years of their behavior to change in 60 days. It may take you a few years to deprogram yourself. It's a gradual process. The same way it can take you that long to lose a lot of weight. If you're 400 pounds, unless you go have surgery, it's very unlikely you're going to take 400 pounds off in 90 days. It's a process because it took time for you to put the 400 pounds on. And so that's what people really have to understand is that a lot of times deprogramming yourself from a lot of this stuff is a process. It's about learning. It's about really examining your belief systems. What do I need to learn? Who do I need to associate with? What mindsets do I need to change? What environments do I need to be in? Right? Because often you can go into an environment and see people making money, and you'll be amazed that they're talking about numbers that you didn't even know people even talked about like that. I went to a mastermind like 2014. We're talking almost a decade ago now. And it was a bunch of people that I worked in media buying, affiliate marketing, and I mean paid affiliate marketing. And you were meeting people that were spending $100,000 a month on Facebook ads. Guy was doing credit repair, Facebook ads, really doing lead gen in that particular space, was clearing like $80K a month for like a 40% margin of profit. Another dude I met was doing Teespring t-shirts, and he was making like $50,000 a month off Teespring. People don't know what Teespring was. It used to be this platform to sell t-shirts on Facebook. All of these people were making a ridiculous amount of money just doing a lot of paid media buys, doing lead generation. I didn't even know this world even existed, right? But it was me going to that event which opened my eyes up. And I found out through that event, through the humbug, through somebody else I knew. But it was me going through that event and meeting those people made me really realize just how much money is in this market. Because the people I was talking to on Facebook was talking about, yeah, I'm a 6-figure earner. Well, I met a guy that did $50,000 in a month. I met people that was spending 6 figures on ads monthly. They weren't talking about, I'm a 6-figure earner, and that's what they talking about over the year. They might be spending over $1 million on ads over the course of a year. And what it does is it really changes your perception of money, that there are people that their business is so successful, they can spend this kind of money. Right? That's what you really got to understand. If a person's spending $100K a month on ads, they're running a very successful business to be able to spend that much money on ads. You understand me? And so you really want to start asking yourself this question, and you start coming up with answers. But the first answer you're normally going to come up with is that you want to change your belief systems and your perceptions of money based on your experiences. Next thing you want to ask, how can I create a situation that can add money and liquidity to my area? Often we live in areas in which the money and liquidity has dried up, and nobody's going to come in and save the problem. Because why? I don't know why not. You know, I look at these people, these city council people in these economically depressed areas, and I'm like, well, are y'all not going to do anything about the situation? Everybody just going to go with the status quo. And so we got to realize that often we, as the residents or the citizens of these areas, we're going to have to change these environments. Right? Because the people that are in position, I don't think they care. You know, I was talking to somebody about something going on in Metro Atlanta. And I'm like, bro, the people in that area are cool with this particular politician conducting themselves that way. And it's like, yeah, they got to work. They got to come home. They got to take care of their kids. They don't have time to get caught up in that. So the area is not being managed properly because why? The political class ain't doing it. And the people living there, they're apathetic about it. What happens as a result? The area goes down economically even more, you know? And so one of the most unfortunate things about Nipsey Hussle getting shot, and, you know, a lot of people going to come in here with the square business around why he got shot, yada, yada, yada. And, you know, it's going to be square business. But what I want you to understand is that now you look at the situation with Nipsey Hussle, really quickly before we close this out, one thing he understood is that liquidity in a particular area is very important. So his investment group owned that strip mall, and they owned that strip mall. And what they were trying to do was get liquidity or get, you know, money to flow through that particular area. Normally what you see in a lot of areas is that the commercial real estate, the business owners, they're going to pay the largest amount of property taxes in that area. Then what that's going to do is that's going to help improve, provide more services to the area, which it also can help improve the residential real estate. Nipsey was from an area where you just did not have a lot of liquidity. And even though people can quote about the black dollar and yada, 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 when we get done quoting about the black dollar, now what are we going to do about it? Okay. So the reason why I respected what him and his group was trying to do is they were actually trying to do something about this particular situation, because they understood if money is always fleeing this area, we can never improve the area. Right? We can't hire police. We can't hire fire. We can't build parks. We can't add services because why? No money's coming through the area. So we got to start doing the things that it's going to take to change the actual area by making sure we have a healthy business environment to where people want to come in here, do business with us. Then we're going to pay more in taxes because the value of the property is going to go up. And then we can provide more services to our people. That's having ownership over your particular area. Many people are not up to that challenge, but there's going to be a small amount of people that actually are. And then they can start asking themselves, how can they add money and liquidity to my particular area? Right? Many people are not going to be up to that. It's just not who they are as people. They're going to be very apathetic to it. They want somebody else to do it. But these are the kind of questions you want to ask yourself when you want to start moving into a leadership position. So that's pretty much all we're going to talk about today. But the reason why we did this particular video is to really start getting you to start asking questions that can reframe or adjust your perceptions around money. When we come from environments to where we always lack money, our parents always told us we couldn't afford it. Our parents would get mad if we asked to buy things because they didn't have it and they didn't want to be reminded that they didn't have it. We start to create these beliefs around money. We start to believe that money is a limiter to everything that we're trying to do in the world. And as a result, we don't start thinking about how we can get more access to it, right? Or we have these very weird beliefs around money to where it doesn't matter what I do, as long as it makes me some money. And that often doesn't work out long term for people, but because that's such a strong belief, especially in America, for a lot of people, they don't care. And so what I really want to encourage you to do is start really examining your beliefs around money and where do they actually come from, right? Many people are very much indoctrinated into a line of thought or school of thought. And when you ask them, well, where did that line of thought originate? They can't answer it because they don't even know where it comes from, right? And then often when people start doing those things, they can start realizing that maybe I have the wrong belief system that's going to allow me to get the success that I desire. Because your beliefs have to allow you to get the success that you desire, or you're believing in something that will not allow you to get the success that you desire. So the question is, why do you believe in it then? Hope you got some value from it. David W. Williams, talk to you later.